Let's talk about Alaska. I had the opportunity to book a cruise, a reader and author cruise, a part of a group called Happily Ever Aft, which I love the name. It is a play on Happily Ever After, which you know I love. So yeah, my husband and I, we went on a cruise with several other authors. Jenny Proctor, who I love. I love her books. If you haven't read them, check them out. Emma St. Clair, again, another quick buy for me. Jess Mastorkos, Mandy Blake, Victorine Lesky. I know I'm going to forget some names. Diane Oren. There were so many people there. But traveling on this trip actually gave me a chance to meet some other friends that I have north of the border since we were in Vancouver. So I actually had a chance to meet Jess Hansen in person. So that was amazing. I cannot stress how much fun this cruise was. Now, that being said, let's see where to start. So let's start at the beginning. So the trip to Vancouver was a long one. So I'm in Kentucky and I expected a long flight. No problem. I cannot tell you how grateful and thankful I am to Delta Airlines that they have conscientious employees there. So we were actually boarding the plane from Minneapolis to head to Vancouver because we had a layover, and the captain walked off. He said, "Don't get on the plane." Come to find out, there was a hydraulic problem and he refused to fly that plane, and I am so grateful for that. I know it's always hard to sit somewhere for 6 hours, always, especially when you're not prepared for it, but I would rather have that happen than have a problem and end up on the news. So to the captain, if you are ever seeing this, or Delta Airlines, I cannot tell you, I was probably the only happy person there at the gate. That team there did everything they could to make a good situation out of a bad one. It's not something that I wanted to try. That is not something that I wanted him to even attempt. He smelled hydraulic fluid on the plane and told us not to board, even though we were on the gangway to get onto the plane. So yes, I was more than happy to go sit back down. Vancouver is amazing. Lots of walking. I loved that. Lots of walking. In Louisville and growing up in Dallas, you drove everywhere. I mean, if I have to run errands, I live on the outskirts of Louisville and I gotta drive. There is no walking to the store or walking to a restaurant or walking to a coffee shop. You drive. So to me, that was a treat. I also noticed, and this is the craziest thing. So I also noticed that they have storefronts. And I know that sounds stupid. And some of y'all are probably thinking, okay, Jenny, but they have decorated storefront. We don't have that here. I mean, maybe Louisville had it at one point. We had a lot of disruption in town several years ago. A lot of buildings had boarded up windows for quite a while. I don't know that if that was corrected or not. I don't spend a lot of time downtown. I don't like one-way streets and the traffic and stuff like that. Even growing up in downtown quite a bit. I grew up on the outskirts of Dallas, Cedar Hill, woo! So it was really neat to see these wide sidewalks. And I know that sounds so stupid, okay? Wide sidewalks where you could walk. My husband and I, we held hands, we walked, we stopped, we had coffee. We went in and out of little shops looking around. It was the neatest and nicest thing. So I love traveling because you get to see different environments and different places. Boarding the ship was better than I expected. I have been watching YouTube videos for probably about 6 months, and they all talked about what to pack, what not to pack, what to expect. And some of those videos are very negative. I had the best experience. Holland America knocked it out of the ballpark, okay? If I'm going to take a cruise again, it's probably going to be with Holland America. Not sponsored. Absolutely love them. Please go ahead, sponsor me. I'd happily do it. Oh my gosh. So we got there, had our passports in hand, we dropped off 2 bags, and we had a couple of rolling bags because we have medication and book stuff and things like that that we didn't want to store because I didn't know how it would go. Literally walked in the building. They asked what ship we were going to be on. That was the other thing. There was 3 ships boarding that morning. So the chaos that I expected in triplicate. That did not happen. So we got there, we got in line. You walk through and they prepped us. They're like, okay, Koningsdam, you head this way. Koningsdam, head this way. Holland America, head this way. Your ship is this way. Have your passports out. And I mean, it was so quick, so efficient, so fast. I cannot even tell you. We went through customs. We went through the boarding process. We went through the onboarding. We went to our meeting spot. We got onto the ship. Our room was ready. We were told not to expect the room to be ready until like 4 or 5 o'clock. And we were boarding at noon. So, and the ship was leaving at 3. We were told we wouldn't have our suitcases until like 7 or 8 p.m. And that was, of course, to be on the safe side. But we got our room right away, and our suitcases were in the room already. I mean, it was amazing. I cannot say enough. Concierge person came by to say hello. Abdu, he was amazing. So Holland America, if you're listening to this, you have a steward on the Koningsdam. His name is Abdu, and he is incredible. That man needs a raise. He is amazing. He was so nice, so sweet, smiling every time we saw him, treated us like we were just the king and queen of England. He was incredible. In fact, I told my husband, we joking about it for a couple of days now. I'm like, who's going to turn down the bed? Who's going to make towel animals for us? Who's going to leave a paper of what to expect the next day? I mean, he was incredible. When I say Holland America has their stuff together, they really have their stuff together. Maybe that's typical for a cruise ship. I don't know. This was my first cruise. So as for somebody that was worried and scared, not knowing what to expect, absolutely 10 out of 10. I would do it again in a heartbeat. I'm probably going to break this video up into different sections because it could get very long. I have a lot of things that I want to cover and talk about with you. That was the onboarding, and that was the getting on the ship. The Koningsdam, which was the ship that we were traveling on, was because that's what you see on all the videos and on the news. I mean, they look like floating cities. And don't get me wrong, it is one. But on that note, I know that I do want to break this up because there's a lot to cover. It was the best trip. The best trip. I know Happily Ever Aft is doing one next year to the Bahamas. I have not signed up for it yet. I don't know if I am because I've got to look and see what conventions I've already signed up for. But yeah, no, definitely interested in doing it again. Especially Alaska. I would go back to Alaska in a heartbeat. We saw whales. We saw icebergs. The Capilano Bridge. If you follow me on Instagram, you might have already seen it. Yeah. It was neat. If you don't like heights, I would not recommend it. I hate to say that. It was very neat, very, very neat. I might have had a slight panic attack on that bridge. To the teenagers that were swinging and jumping on it, not appreciated in the slightest. I'm glad I'm not your mama. Yeah, I almost crawled across that bridge. Yeah, it's over a ravine. It's probably about 3 feet wide, and it swings a lot. I was not happy. Yeah, favorite port of all. We went to 3 ports. We went to Juneau, Skagway, Ketchikan, and then we went to Glacier Bay. Glacier Bay is not really a port. You go in and you see all the glaciers. The ship turns so you can see it from every angle. So I have a little bit of feedback for each port. That's why I want to break this up. But I'm probably not going to be as active online right now because I've got a couple of things that I want to work on. I was working on Gina's story, which is Tate Cassidy's younger sister from Big Stick Energy. But my illustrator had an issue and I told her to take her time. She needs to take care of her first. She had an unexpected passing of one of her pets and she's pretty devastated. So if y'all could keep her in your prayers, I would appreciate it. But we're gonna kind of set that one to the side for a little bit. I am working on Archangel's story and the Kodiaks are coming. So if you've been reading my hockey series, you know that the Kodiaks are the big bad team. And I say that because they're the champions that the Wolverines had to beat at the end of the series. Spoilers. If you haven't read that series, Sticks and Vows, you start with Cold as Nice, and that introduces you to some of the characters and talks about some of the players. If you are new to hockey completely and you want something sweet and gentle, you can start with Ice Ice Maybe. That is a sweet insta-love story that actually has a crossover with Baird Farm and Flyboys. You know I love crossovers, but the Kodiaks are getting a series. And I'm really excited for it. I've actually got the first several covers already made. I'm working on the outlines, the characters, building that up. So yeah, the Kodiaks are coming.